So, speaking of successful attempts, the chartered accountancy result in India is out. The Institute of Chartered Accountants have released the result, and it has been a really good result for the IPCC and the foundation people. The finals result is also out. So, congratulations to all who have passed the exam, and I really hope that you can reach all the highs in your life and be successful. uh, I have been talking to a lot of people who are connected with the education system of the chartered accountants. I've been listening from a lot of experts in my city, from Ravi Chacharia, who is a very renowned author of a taxation book. He is also a teacher of chartered accountant students. He has been teaching direct tax and various other tax related subjects to the chartered accountant students at various different levels. I have also heard back from Kalpit Khimka, who has said that they have also had a lot of success in this result of the chartered accountants. And uh, I have met with a few of the chartered accountant students as well who have passed their exam. But what I have heard from them is that they are not so optimistic about their future as a chartered accountant. For whatever reason, even people who have actually cleared their chartered accountancy exam have actually spoken out in a very pessimistic fashion. And it has been really, really surprising to hear from these young generation who have cleared their professional exam, and now they are heading into the corporates. They are heading into practice, whole time practice. They are even going into businesses, and they are not so optimistic about the futures of chartered accountants. At the same time, there have been a few company secretary students who have been who have been voicing the same kind of concerns to me, that the future looks bleak for chartered accountants and company secretaries and their profession. And I beg to differ, but before I give you why I am not so pessimistic about these professions, let's hear out the reasons that were given to me for their demoralization of these successes. So the students are telling me, especially the company secretary students, that there are not enough jobs to go around for them right now. So the institutes, that is the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India and the Institute of Company Secretaries of India, are giving out good results, which means there will be new pass outs, more pass outs of chartered accountants and company secretaries who will be looking for more jobs now in the market, and there is a scarcity of jobs right now. The employment rate in India, especially, has gone high, so the concern is understandable. The company secretaries have specifically connected their concerns to the new amendment that has been made to the Companies Act. So the Companies Act used to have a section that would make it mandatory for companies, that will be private limited and public limited companies with a paid up capital of 5 crore or more, to have to appoint a mandatory company secretary in the company. This will be a company secretary in whole time employment. And because of this provision, there was a large boom in the employment sector for company secretaries. But as it turns out, it has not been so good right now for the company secretary, because there has been an amendment to the same rule. So they have moved the requirement of 5 crore to now up to 10 crore. So say a company having a 5 crore turnover, 5 crore paid up capital, does not require to mandatorily appoint a company secretary for the compliance requirements. Uh, Now they can wait till they are 10 crores paid up capital worth or more to appoint a mandatory company secretary, and there are very few companies who are actually having a paid up capital of 10 crores or more. And so it is going to cut short the opportunities that were being given in employment to the company secretaries who are passing out, and there will be a scarcity of job, and hence there will be a lot of unemployment in the company secretary sector. In the company secretary sector. Now, I beg to differ first and foremost with both chartered accountants and company secretaries. Reason for their demoralizing answers to me, demoralizing reaction to the result. That even though the result has been good, they are not so satisfied with the employment conditions of the chartered accountants and company secretaries. Now, I understand that not every person has the potential to go into practice, and so they and a lot of people actually want to go into jobs because it can give you a security, a stable income. It can also give you good experience at the initial stage. So I totally understand that. But what people don't understand is that they are not limited to just going into whole time practice, or they are not limited to just going into whole time employment. They have other avenues as well. So just having a look at the company secretary and the Chartered Accountant Institute's study material, you can see that the topics that are being covered in that are vast. People, for whatever reason, the students, whatever for whatever reasons, they are misguided and they are not clarified enough in their approach to understand that these subjects that they are studying in the chartered accountancy or the company secretary exam are not not the same. For example, if I talk to company secretary students, they are not able to understand that the company law is different to corporate governance. Now, these are two completely different subjects. There is advanced company law, and then there is corporate governance. The whole concept of corporate governance is completely different to what you have in company law. So, a company law is basically a law that is governing a company's do's and don'ts. It is the rules that you have to follow to play the game. While corporate governance is the game, corporate governance is the whole picture in which company law has just one part of it, and that part might be important, but it is not the whole picture. So if you are going to corporate governance, you are basically going to learn the strategic part of businesses, how a corporate structure should be, what are the advantages of each and every corporate structure, how to select those corporate structures, how to govern this whole body of this whole organization, how to manage it, and how to run the basic corporate structure. That is what corporate governance means, and people cannot comprehend that it is different to company law. Most of the students are writing the same answers as company law in their corporate governance paper. That's what I have been hearing from people, and so they should be educated much more about the importance and the potential of each and every concept. For say example, there are financial management concepts. There are also various concepts like strategic governance. There is insolvency and bankruptcy code that has been taught in the CS finals, company secretary professional exam. There is also corporate restructuring, merger and acquisition. All these things, all these concepts are important in their own way, because you can make living on just one or two of these concepts, one or two of these subjects. You don't need to be a specialist in each and everything. I myself have a lot of friends who are working in along with me, who might have worked with me in the past in other firms in Surat and abroad, and they are doing just fine working in just one of these concepts. So I have friends who are working in M&A, and they are doing very well. They are earning a good, decent salary. When I say decent, they are actually rich. They own their own houses. They are running their life really lavishly, and they enjoy their work as well. Likewise, there are friends who have taken a completely different kind of a viewpoint to this, and they have done their MBA after company secretary, they have done their LLB, and they have gone into litigation. So there are a lot of venues and lot of means by which students can actually make a living out of this. They don't need to depend on just the company secretary job, neither they need to depend on the practice option. They can actually work in consulting firms like I'm working in. and that is beneficial as well in the long term. There is a lot of scope to grow. So a chartered accountant, when I talk to chartered accountants, I tell them, what would do you like in all of the subjects that you have studied in chartered accountancy? And they would say direct tax. Now I would ask them, what do you like in direct tax? And they would just make a dumb face and tell me, I like direct tax, that's it. So they are not first and foremost educated enough to understand that there are a lot of different things within direct tax that they can actually work on. And these chartered accountants whom I am talking about are chartered accountants who have already finished their internship, the training, articleship, as they say, for and they have been working in a chartered accountancy firm for more than 3 years now. And at this moment, they still cannot differentiate between the parts of direct tax that can be specialized in, that can be worked out as a good career opportunity. So, just to give some of the chartered accountants an example, uh, in direct tax there are different parts. So, there is first and foremost tax planning advisory services. There is of course the income tax return filing. There is auditing. You can also go and you can also go into litigation. So when I say litigation, it goes into tribunals. So you can represent your clients in tribunals where any scrutiny is being raised by the department, the income tax department. So all these parts are not supposed to be done by one person. If there is a person who is doing all of these things, and there is another person who is doing specific part of these things, or specific part of the direct tax, they will be not so proficient as the specialized one. The person who is doing all of these, get who is trying to become an expert in all of these concepts, that person will take a lot of time first and foremost, and will not be able to be as good as the person who is specializing in just one part, say in scrutiny and in uh, representing the client in tribunal. So by doing micro specialization, you will be good enough, you will be smart enough to make a living for yourself in life through this. So you don't have to depend on whether any company is ready to absorb you or not. There are always people who are looking for tax consultants, who are looking to change their tax consultants for whatever reason, depending on their comfort, depending on what kind of person they are looking for with whatever experience. Now, the concept that is the most harassing for people is how to gain experience when you're not getting a job. People are waiting for the right opportunity when they are passing out of chartered accountancy and company secretary exam. And I don't think so that is always the right approach, because without experience, you are not going to get anywhere. And to get experience, you need to work continuously, consistently. You cannot stop working, and you cannot think you can sit down for a year or 6 months and then you can start working again. No, because none of the people who will be hiring you or will be interviewing you for any job would like that. First and foremost, the break in between, it does not look good on you. You will be looking lazy to them. At the same time, there is a if you are sitting down for just 2 months in corporate environment, you are losing a lot of information, you are losing a lot of time, and you are going to lag behind in the knowledge part, because knowledge updation is required on daily basis in this work. So what I would rather suggest is just get whatever job you can get, or go for some more management training, because management training is the best way you can get experience. When I say experience, it is not some experience that you only have to show to future employment prospects. You can use this experience in what it is basically. If you take experience with your wholeheartedness, and you want to learn the trade, you want to learn the practical knowledge that is important along with the theoretical knowledge that you have taken, then you should go for management training and get that kind of practical knowledge. More knowledge you get, more smarter you will get. When the interview comes, the right opportunity comes for you, and you sit down in those interviews, you will be able to answer much better. You will be able to conduct yourself much better. You will be much more stronger, much more smarter, and everything will become automatic for you. You won't be able, you don't have to think, you don't have to think about what you need to say. You will just speak the right things, and you will eventually get your job, if you're looking for a job, of course. Likewise, there are other opportunities as well. If once you complete your company secretaries and chartered accountancy exam, you can go for further studies. You can go for MBA. You can go for LLB. You can also go for uh, other other institute other institute professional degrees as well. For example, I am pursuing my chartered secretary and administrator from United Kingdom, which is a really good way to do, which is really good credential to have. Shout out to CSA. Other students can also think about that, but it is a bit expensive, of course. The fees over there in UK is a little bit expensive, and I don't think so everyone will like to afford it. Everyone would be able to afford it, so it depends from case to case what you can do. Likewise, at what time you have completed your finished your company secretary, your chartered accountancy professional exam is also a very important thing. Uh, if you are already late in your career, it is better that you start with your practical experience, and you get the experience and abundance in the least time that you can spend on that, and you start with your career. Don't sit down. That is not the right way to do it. And, let's not be lazy. The biggest problem, and I'm now speaking not just for company secretaries or chartered accountant students, I'm speaking for all the students in whatever fields you might be in, science, commerce, in arts, or no matter whatever you are doing right now. We are not able to be successful because of our own shortcomings. So the first and foremost thing that I have seen in people is the inability to think under pressure. So if a person is under pressure, there is a good chance that he won't be able to think. If a person is taking so much tension on himself, that about thinking about his future, where he is going to end up, whether he is going to be successful or not, he or she is not able to think right, think straight. So the first and foremost thing is you need to be much more optimistic now. Because of your pessimism, you are not able to think, you are not able to take the right judgment of the situation. And while not taking the right judgment, you are not going to get anywhere. It would take a miracle to get you somewhere in your life. So first and foremost, you need to calm yourself down, and you need to be optimistic about your future. Tell yourself that no matter what, I am going to end up in a right position. And if you can think like that, yeah, I think you can actually make a decision now. This is the direction that I want to take, and because you are positive, you will be able to take direction in letter and spirit. You will be able to follow through with that decision without any regrets or remorse in the future, and you will believe that that decision that you have taken will end up being the right decision for you in your life. So first and foremost, be strong, be optimistic, be positive about yourself, feel good that whatever you have achieved in life is something that not everyone has achieved, and then think about what you want to do in life. So, like I said, I am talking for each and every student, every aspirant listening to this podcast. You need to take the opportunity that is right in front of you. You should not be waiting for the opportunities at the very start. When you don't have the experience, when you have not worked, you don't have the feel of what it means to work in various environments. It is better to take the opportunity right in front of you so that you can start somewhere. It's just like a maze. To start a maze, first you have to enter the maze. If you cannot enter the maze, you cannot make up your mind to enter the maze, you are not going to end up solving the maze. The problem is that we don't take the initiative in first place. So I would encourage you take the initiative. Now, when I say the opportunities, taking the opportunities in front of you, people are very one dimensional these days. They won't take an opportunity in a separate, different kind of an environment. So, for example, say there are engineering students who have been talking to me for a while now. I think I have been talking to them for last 5 or 6 years. I have been speaking to various students and various group of students, and they have been telling me that the engineering sector is suffering from unemployment. And I beg to differ. There is a disguised unemployment first and foremost. People have jobs, but the pay is not good enough. The salaries that are being given, the wages that are being paid to these engineers are not good enough, and they are not compensating you correctly. That's the feeling of the students, so they are not going for that. I mean, I understand when you have done your electrical circuits degree, bachelor in technology, bachelor in engineering. When you have done your bachelor in engineering and you have spent so much money on getting that degree, you're not going to settle down for 4,000 or 5,000 or 6,000 rupees per month in way of salary. You are of course going to expect something more, and you cannot make a living out of just 5,000 or 6,000 rupees anywho in this world right now. So I understand where they come from, but nonetheless it is a disguised unemployment. The employment is there, but the people don't want to take those jobs because of the low salary and whatever the reason there might be. So you need to understand this disguised unemployment problem, and first and foremost take that employment up, get the experience. If you get the experience, there is a good possibility that you will get a better prospect in future. You will be able to jump, take another step up into a bigger corporation, into a bigger organization, a bigger company, and a bigger plant, and you can work on those projects. So, coming back to the topic, we wandered off the topic a little bit. So, when I say the opportunity is right in front of you, it should not be something that you are comfortable with. Success does not lie where we are comfortable. Success lies where we are uncomfortable and still we are willing to do it. So, say for example, there are a lot of science students who I have seen have ventured into chartered accountancy and have been brilliant, have been absolutely brilliant in their performance as a chartered accountant student. They have scored all India level ranks, and when I say all India level ranks, it is a huge achievement, because we are talking about some 900,000 people to 1 million people giving exam. At least that is at least 1 million people giving exam all across India for this chartered accountancy degree, the chartered accountancy profession. And I don't think so there is like 3% or 4% of the people in total who are passing this exam. So when you pass that exam, it itself is an achievement, because you are one in a million kind of a person. At the same time, a science faculty guy who has never done any accounting, if he dedicates his time or she dedicates his time to learning accounts, can learn it in 40 days. And that's not me speaking, that is something that has been told to me by chartered accountant Ravi Chacharya. And he is adamant that the science faculty people, the students from science faculty who have jumped the ship and come on board with the chartered accountancy studies, have actually been much more better than the commerce students in certain cases. That is because they have been wholeheartedly accepting the concept of jumping the ship. They have wholeheartedly understood what potential this holds and what is the clear path to success. And that clear path, if you can see that clearly, I think you can actually achieve the same success. Likewise, there are engineers who are from mechanical field and they get opportunity to work in say electrical field, and they might have knowledge, There are engineers who I have seen have been working in electrical engineering, and they have got opportunity in IT sector. They have taken those opportunity. They have learned on the job the basic concepts of IT. They have learned on the job the advanced concepts of IT from their colleagues and by their own research. And today they have done brilliantly for themselves. They are settled, they are wandering around the world, they are working with some of the biggest clients. Uh, so, yeah, that's because only and only because they have taken that leap of faith that they have been able to make it in this world. And the students today, they need to understand that this is something very important. if you cannot if you cannot gather your strength, if you cannot gather the inner strength in yourself to take this leap of faith and take the opportunity right in front of you and make something happen out of it, I don't think so there will be any hope for you. Now, coming to success itself, success is so good because it is not something that can be achieved by everyone. I understand that, and it is scarce. And because of the scarcity of getting this successful people around, the value of being successful is high. But I don't think so. It is not achievable for anyone. Everyone can be successful, but they need to understand their limitations and they need to understand their strengths. If they can understand their strengths, play to your strengths, live by your strengths, and don't hide your weaknesses, but try to correct yourself in those weak areas. Try to evolve, try to be innovative, and try to compensate for your weaknesses by working harder. And by doing that, I think you can achieve anything. You can achieve anything in life.